Hello everybody, this is Debo of Debo's Movie Reviews here, and today I'll be reviewing Mission Impossible 3, starring, of course, Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt, Michelle Monaghan as Julia Meade Hunt, with Ving Rhames as Lucifer, Maggie Q as Zen, Simon Pegg as Benji in his first outing in the franchise, with Lawrence Fishburne as Fedor Brass, Kerry Russell as Lindsay Ferris, and of course, Philip Seymour Hoffman as Owen Davian. Which I gotta admit, when it comes to the Mission Impossible franchise, I say Owen Davian was pretty much the best villain of the series. Yeah, one of them between Cavill's character in the sixth one and Esai Morales in the last one. And I mean, which when it comes to the state of the Mission Impossible movies, you can say there's no need to Americanize James Bond because Ethan Hunt is pretty much it. You come down to it, and when it comes to TV shows, old TV shows that get the film big screen treatment, I have to say, if I hadn't already said it before in other reviews of Mission Impossible 1 and 2, I'll just say it's pretty much an improvement. Kind of like with the Untouchables. Kind of noticed how as much as critically acclaimed as the Untouchables was, you don't really see much of the original series it was based on. Other than I've only seen like a few episodes and say it was a TV movie of Robert Stack was Elliot Ness, because that was where he got his start. But that's a little off topic here, but yeah, definite improvement. Though, gotta admit, this without the series we wouldn't have had the movies, so there's that. And of course, with perfect casting, and with Maggie Q as Zen, it's about like I say in Fan Fury, the moment when Nikita was an IMF agent before becoming Nikita. And of course, Philip Seymour Hoffman played a damn good villain, and pretty much practically one of my favorite movies of his. We miss seeing you we miss you, dude. And of course, Ving Rhames as Lucifer, definite improvement with kind of like the whole, and especially with the whole backstory deal, and the whole storyline is, it was a movie that was kind of almost intended to be the last of the franchise, but it kind of got so popular we kept getting sequels like Ghost Protocols and Rogue Nation, and so a few others I can't remember right now, but hey, it's pretty much, I'd say Ethan Hunt's my third favorite Tom Cruise role besides Cold Trickle and Maverick, especially since he got a fair amount of badass chases, especially one where he's at that one after Davian escapes, and in that whole plot at the beginning of the movie when Ethan's called out retirement to replace his protege, Lindsay, played by Kerry Russell, who was not mentioned in the first two movies, but only to be get killed off. But being J.J. Abrams, and she's one of his people. About up there with Greg Grunberg. Because that's one thing about old J.J. Abrams. He's got to have his people, which is always the mark of a great director. Somebody who's got to have their people when it comes to the casting. Kind of like, and I mean, there's a long-standing practice that goes all the way back to John Wayne and John Ford and John Wayne. And of course, with the whole storyline with Ethan out of retirement to avenge a fallen comrade, and of course trying to catch the terrorist, played by Hoffman. And I mean, talking about some epic scenes of from when they infiltrated mission to rescue him, or I say arrest him. Now I was meant to say, and then they had a whole escape scene, which, of course, Expendables 3 later rehashed with Mel Gibson, but right off a bridge, and of course the whole deal with, and of course kidnapped. Of course, Hunt losing his girl to him. Well, I mean getting kidnapped, but of course she pretty much divorced him or faked his death, and well, didn't appear until like a bit part in Ghost Protocol, and in the sixth one, I think that was Fallout, but where she remarried to another doctor. And of course, I've already mentioned about Simon Pegg in his first outing as Benji. It was about to close seeing him as Q. And even a lot of excellent stunts, of course. Which, of course, with Tom Cruise, you got to give it to him. From the building jumps, that car chase, and then you got to give it to Hoffman and his line, because when it comes to because I say first things that comes to mind when you talk about Philip Seymour Hoffman. And what's the first thing you remember him from? I might just say, add the line of, "Where's the rabbit's foot?" Which is pretty much what he says throughout the whole movie. Which is pretty much what the synopsis of the movie was finding this ship kind of about like the equivalent of God's Eye in Furious 7. But overall, I'm going to say give Mission Impossible 3 a 5 out of 5 review. Because in comparison to the first two, it was the best one compared to the first two. But hey, my opinion, each one kind of got better and better. I mean, hell, the way Tom Cruise ages, he could play Ethan Hunt till he's 90. Alright, y'all, that'll do it for this week. Or, every time I get a convenient time to do a review. But, I'll keep, subscribe, like and subscribe, and comments and recommendations, and I'll be sure to dish them out.